Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about every single book that I acquired between the beginning of April, so April 1st, 2025 and June 30th, quarter two. I have these loosely, actually not loosely, they are organized into alphabetically by author's last name, which is how I like to put books on my shelves. So I'm hoping that in organizing them ahead of time, it's going to save me a little bit when I'm shelving them after we film this video. My plan is to just kind of go through these. This is every single book I've bought. I have read some of them, not many, but some of them already. So you've heard my thoughts on those, but I'll obviously point them out. The last time I did this for quarter one, I had 89 books to talk about. I've got less than half of that because we only have 43 books to talk about this time. It's been a really big goal of mine this year to cut back on my book buying. A couple of you know this if you've been OGs over on Instagram. I obviously have not had this YouTube channel that long, but for the whole year of 2023, I was on a complete book buying ban, so I didn't buy myself a single book that whole year. There were ways I got around it because I didn't count any subscription boxes in that, so I was only getting book of the month at the time, but those didn't count. And then I wasn't married at the time, so my boyfriend and I at the time would go to like Barnes & Noble or whatever and buy each other books. But then I obviously had to like keep it in check because any money that I technically was spending on him was money that I was spending on myself anyway, so I couldn't give him like 18 books to buy if I was only buying him like one. But I did buy significantly less books than I do now. And so at the beginning of the year, I was buying, I think in January, I acquired like 40 books. And when I say acquired, I mean obviously things that I purchased with my own money, but also subscription boxes and PR packages and gifts from friends and little free library books, which I'm not doing as much now anymore because I don't need to. So I'm not buying 40 books. January was 40, which is a particularly high number, mostly because it was January's my birthday month, and then it's also like rollover from Christmas, I feel like. So that was a lot of gifted books. And then I had like 29, I think, in February, and maybe like, it was less than that, maybe like 20 in March. But over the last couple of months, I had 17, maybe a little bit more than 17. I don't know what the math is. Around 17. I think it was 17. 17 in, sorry that I'm so all over the place. 17 in April, 18 in May, and then I only had 8 in June. So I'm going down. We're doing pretty good. Pretty much our whole quarter two acquisitions were like almost less than a single month in quarter one. So we're doing well. Anyway, that's enough yapping. I mean, we're going to continue to yap, but I'm going to dive into the books I have here. So first up is This Monster of Mine by Shalini Abaskara. This is a fairy loot book, and it is, of course, gorgeous. I love these spreads. They're my favorite. And I think this naked cover is really pretty too. I have not read this one yet. Oh, that's so pretty. You would think I hadn't seen this book before either. But I have had a couple of friends who have read this and have really liked it. So I'm excited for this one eventually. Next up, we've got Broken Souls and Bones by LJ Andrews. I've only read the Ever King and the Ever Queen. I think I read the Ever Queen also. Maybe I didn't. I've definitely read the Ever King by LJ Andrews and I absolutely loved it. So I'm excited for this one. My friend Faye loved this one, so obviously it'll be good. This is also a Fairy Loot edition, as you can probably tell. And it is so pretty because of course it is. Look at this naked cover. I'm like in awe. Anyway, so I'm not sure when that one will happen, but I'm excited about it. That is Broken Souls and Bones by LJ Andrews. Next, I've got two different sets of Gifted and Talented. This one is the Fairy Loot edition. It's also got some really pretty purple spreads. And then this one is the Owl Crate edition, which is kind of giving Succession, I think. I haven't read a ton of Olivia Blake, but what I have liked, or what I have read, I've really liked, which is One for My Enemy. So I'm excited about this one. I feel like I've seen really mixed reviews about it, but I think it'll be a good time. Next up, I've got Where Shadows Meet by Patrice Caldwell. This is also a fairy loot. I don't know anything about this book, literally nothing. And usually when I say I know nothing about a book, I like sort of know some things, but I really literally know nothing about this book. We'll see. Next up, we've got kind of a controversial one. This is Firebird by Juliet Cross, also a Fairy Loot edition, also very beautiful. Look at the spreads. What I've heard about this one is that it's a slave and master romance, so a lot of people are like, don't want any of that. So we'll see. I don't really want to write it off yet. So it looks like dragons and ancient Rome. So I'm excited. Then I have One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I have a love-hate relationship with Carly Fortune. I really liked Every Summer After. I was very comatose on Meet Me at the Lake. And then I haven't read This Summer Will Be Different, but survey says that this summer was not different. So we'll see. But I am excited still for this one just because it is about Charlie from Every Summer After, and I really liked him, even though he's kind of a dirtbag, but a story for another day. So I'm excited to read this one whenever that time comes. All right, next we've got a very controversial one. This is Silver Elite by Dani Francis. I even got the Pretty Book of the Month edition. I am still excited to read this. I know people think that it needs to do a lot more than it is doing, but I feel like I can't have an opinion on that until I've read it. And I also feel like we sometimes think that books need to do more than they're designed to do, because at the end of the day, if a book's purpose is to entertain you and you were entertained, I think it did its job. I don't really go to romantasy books with the expectation that I'm going to learn something profound. It's just me. And if you feel that way, by all means, like, you're allowed to feel that way, but I'm also allowed to feel the way I feel. So that's where I get at with this one. I don't know enough about it to speak for myself yet. That's just kind of the discourse I've seen going around. So maybe I'll read it and feel completely different. I don't know, but I am excited to read this one. We are flying through these. Okay, next up, I'm going to show these at the same time because they're by the same author and they're in the same series. This is The Revenant Game and The Hollow Hunt, both by Maggie Fuston, and they're both signed because she's a local author to me. I've heard really good things about these, but I don't see a ton about them on like Bookstagram and stuff, so I'm excited to see what those are about. Next, I've got The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This is also a Fairy Loot book, so of course it's beautiful. I really liked the Shepherd King duology, One Dark Window and then Two Twisted Crowns, so I've heard very good things about this, and I'm excited to see what Rachel Gillig does next. Next, we've got Mysterious Fathoms Below by J.A. Good. She is not a super well-known author, but she writes pirate romantasy, and one thing about me is I love pirates. So I'm excited to read this one when the time comes. I think she did an amazing job with this cover. There's, you know, the tentacles, the ship, the compass with the star in the middle, like, it's just, so I got this one actually for free with a PR box, so I'm very excited to see if I like it. I think she just announced the title of the sequel, which I want to say is like Mysterious Skies Above, Shores Above, I don't remember. One of those. Yeah, so if you're interested, this is probably a really good time to start reading this guy. Next up is a book that no one's ever heard of in their whole lives. Great Big Beautiful Life. This is Emily Henry's latest adult romance, but I hear it's not totally romance. I have not read this one yet. We'll see what I think about it when I do. Out of all of Emily Henry's books, Beach Read is still my favorite, and I've also read some of her YA. So I'm saying that with the whole scope of everything. But I am still intrigued by this one. I'm just kind of going in with lowered expectations, I think, but I'm also not itching to read it, so it'll probably be a while. Next up is Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. This is like the most darling cover. I'm really excited to read it almost just because of that. Who doesn't love pink cowgirl boots? And I know this is a whole series, so I'm hoping if I like this one that I just keep going with those, but I did very much buy this on a whim. Next up, we've got The Twisted Throne. I pre-ordered this. It is the last book, I think it's the last book in the Bridge Kingdom series, and I haven't read anything from the Endless War on, so I've only read the first 3 books. So this I will get to eventually. Or maybe this is the first in, oh, this is the 5th novel. So this is the first in the 3rd mini duology pairing. So I'm only 2 books behind. That's good. And people had kind of mixed reviews about this, even people that really loved Bridge Kingdom. I was kind of iffy on the first 2, and then I really loved The Inadequate Heir. So we'll see. I really do like Danielle L. Jensen though. Speaking of Danielle L. Jensen, this is A Curse Carved in Bone. This is the sequel to A Fate Inked in Blood, I think is what it's called. And these are like based off of Norse Viking mythology. I haven't started these ones, so I don't know if I like them. Also received mixed reviews, but another thing besides boats that I really like and Alaska is Norse and Viking mythology. So I'm excited about these. Next, another one no one's ever heard of. This is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I am on a quest to read all of Abby Jimenez's backlist before I hit this one. I've read Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and why am I blanking? Just for the Summer. And then I read The Friend Zone, and then on my TBR this month, this is July that I'm filming this, is the Happy Ever After playlist. So I want to read that one, and then Life's Too Short, I think is the next one, and then I'll read this one, whole roundabout way. I've also seen mixed reviews of this, but I'm still excited to read it. I feel like Abby Jimenez never misses for me. Next, we've got The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnson. This is also a Fairy Loot edition. Beautiful feathery wings, spridges. And I think the inside cover of this I liked even better. Usually Fairyloot on their dust jackets will have the, like, some version of the original cover. So you can, if you decide you hate their version of it, which who would, you can always just flip it around. I would say more about this one, but I quite literally know nothing. I think it has to do with like a Pegasus or like some kind of flying bird situation, or else why are there feathers? Next, we've got Restored by Stacey Yost. This is one that I got for free in a PR package. I don't know very much about it, but I have heard people in the art group say really good things about it, so I'm excited to get going on that. Okay, next up is one of my most anticipated sequels this year, and yet I still haven't read it because of who I am as a person. This is The Robin on the Oak Throne by K.A. Lind. The Wren and the Holly Library was one of my top 10 reads of the whole year last year. I loved it. So I'm really excited to get to this one eventually. I am thinking I'll probably want to reread The Wren and the Holly Library before I hit this one up, just because there was a lot that went on with that book and I don't remember a ton. So that's The Robin on the Oak Throne. Next, this one came to me, I believe, from Saga Press. This is For Whom the Bell Tolls, which sounds super interesting. And I love the cover. It's basically like a romance of a girl in hell in the afterlife. So that'll be interesting. When I was new to Bookstagram, I read Sign Here. The author's name was Claudia something. I'll have to look it up. And that was also took place in like the afterlife on like the different levels of hell. And I didn't like that one, mostly because they made hell feel very realistic, like sticky, gross, full of Red Bull and nothing else to drink and things like that, which was funny, but not something that I necessarily wanted to live in. Yeah, so I'm excited about this one. Bringing it back. And then next, this one, okay, everybody and their mom is like begging me to read this and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. This is Watch Me by Tara Mafi, and this is the first book in the sequel series to Shatter Me. Main character is James, Adam's little brother. I'm very excited to read this one whenever I do eventually. I think it's so pretty. Is this a special edition, or is this like just how they made this edition? If so, that's crazy. Oh, this book is so pretty. I've not flipped it open before. I don't know what the deal is with the gummy bears, but I guess I'll find that out when I read. Excited for that one. Next, I've got White Horse Black Knights. This is one of my books from my Moonlight book box subscription. I love Moonlight. One of their things is they don't do dust jackets. So all of their books don't have dust jackets. They're super pretty though. Like, I'm not gonna show that. That's a little bit PG-13. It's also a little bit, but it's super pretty. And I feel like they have super sturdy, good quality books. So I'm excited to read this one. I actually have the regular like indie paperback version of this that came out a few years ago. I got it in a PR box. Still haven't read it. So now I have two beautiful editions of it. Next, I've got Exquisite Ruin by Adrienne May. And this is Owl Crate's first ever quarterly romantasy subscription pick. Also don't know anything about this. If you watch my last video, you'll know that I kind of made the poor decision to read Morning Glory Milking Farm. And this cover makes me think of that, which is probably doing this book a disservice, but that's where my brain goes. So, Exquisite Ruin by Adrienne May. Next, we've got The Floating World by Axie O. I have seen so many people talking about this one, and it's such a beautiful book. This is, as you probably guessed, another Fairyloot book. I keep saying things are Fairyloot books. I am a member of 3 Fairyloot subscriptions, so we've had 3 months, so that's 9 books. And then I also have Moonlight and Owl Crate, and then Owl Crate Quarterly. So lots of special edition books going here. But this is The Floating World. I don't know much about this either, but look at those spreads. And this is stunning. I'm obsessed with it. So anyway, that's one of the books. I dropped that on my foot. Next, we've got Bitten and Bound by Amy Penza. This is a thick girly. You can probably, this is another Moonlight book, so you know dust jacket, and when you smack it, that's like solid. This is pretty on the back too. I'm very excited to read this one. Again, don't know what it's about. If I had to guess, vampires, but don't take my word for it because I don't know what I'm talking about. Next, we've got, actually, technically we have 2 of these. So fun, story time. Shield of Sparrows. I already put one on my shelves. This is the second one that I have. I have 2 because I pre-ordered 1 and then it ended up getting to our house while Michael and I were on our cruise in Alaska. And we have, at our old townhouse complex, we had an Amazon locker, so we'd have to go and pick up books from there. But it shipped and then came super quickly, so we didn't have time to pick it up. I think you have like 4 days to pick it up. And so they told me, like sent me a notification that they had sent the book back. And so I'm like, darn it. So I ordered another one because I didn't want to miss out on these beautiful spreads. So I ordered another one, and then both of them ended up showing up on my doorstep when we got home. So now I have two, but I'll probably just give one to my mom. But I have already read this one. I talked about it in my last wrap-up video for June, but I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to book 2. Another one that we've already read, this is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This was the most disappointing book that I've read in quite some time, and I think a lot of it's my fault just because I was working it up in my head to be like something freaking awesome, and then it was not. I think this was the worst book in the whole series, and that speaking is a lot of people didn't like Reckless. I really liked Reckless, so this is a huge bummer. One character particularly who I've liked this whole series, their character development just was completely wiped. So that's a huge bummer for me, and I am sad about it. Next up, we've got Enigma by Runix. I have not read anything by Runix. I have Gothicana, yeah, literally right here, that I haven't read yet. So I don't think these are related. Maybe they are. I don't know. Anyway, I'm excited about this one. Also, pretty spreads because obviously. All right, we're on our last stack. Next up, I've got Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I did read this one and I liked it. I would say it's probably my least or second to least favorite in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. There's nothing particularly wrong with it, I don't think. I just didn't like it as much as the others, and I was obsessed with Lost and Lassoed, so having this be immediately after that was kind of a letdown. Next up, I've got Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. Also haven't read this one yet. This is obviously a book of the month book, but I am excited. I really liked her sister in Phantasma, so I think having a book about her sister will be a lot of fun. And I don't know why I haven't gotten to this one yet. I just haven't. Well, I do know why, and that's because, have you seen all these other books? I'm excited to get there when I do. I talked about this in my June wrap up, but this is Rose and Chains by Julie Soto. This is the Fairy Loot edition. This book doesn't technically come out until next week. July 8th, I believe, is the release date, or maybe it was July 1st. Now I don't remember. Anyway, point being, I read it as an ARC and then this came in the mail after, so that's why I'm showing you. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the fox on the back. I like this book a lot. I gave it 4 stars. I think if you are a seasoned Harry Potter fan, you'll be able to very easily pick out what the fan fiction bits are. I really like Harry Potter. I'm not as into Hermione as a lot of people are. When I was in my fanfic era, back in high school or college, I was Marauders era. That was my chosen HP fanfic. So I'm kind of up to date on some of the big fanfics in that world. All the Young Boys, Commentarius, The Life and Times. There's a lot in that realm too, so I didn't get as into Hermione as a lot of people, but I still really enjoyed this one. And I've talked about this in my other wrap up, but I have not read The Auction. That's the fanfic that got reworked into this. But I did read Manacled, and they have a lot of similar themes. They're very dark. So if you are someone who is a highly sensitive reader, I would watch out for this book. I really liked it. 4 stars. Next up, we've got another book of the month book. This is Passion Project by Lyndon Sperry. I don't know really anything about this book, but I think it's beautiful, and I like the premise of working with someone to basically go check off your bucket list and find your passion again. So I'm excited to read that one. Next, I've got another Moonlight book, Beyond These Gilded Walls. This one's also giving vampire, but again, I don't know anything about it. This is probably my favorite Owl Crate book that I've received in the recent few subscription boxes. This is The Incandescent by Emily Tesh. But what I really love about this is that the dust jacket is translucent, so you can see the book through it, which I think is so stinking cool and creative. Again, no idea what this is about. That looked like a pentagram on it though, so that should get exciting. And that looks like an eagle, maybe? Phoenix? Probably a phoenix, judging from the feathers going all the way around the page. I'm excited to read this one. We're almost done. Okay, next up. This is from somebody, I don't remember, a PR company sent me this, Ransom Canyon. Minka Kelly is in this new show that I think is on Netflix right now. So I want to read this at some point so I can watch the show. Oh yeah, there's the Netflix sticker. I hear really good things about it. I've had friends that have watched the show and loved it, so I feel like the book obviously is probably pretty good too. I am excited about it. Next, I've got Rewind It Back. This is the most recent in the Mile High series, which I have not read but own every single book for. And apparently they got picked up by a publisher. I didn't know that. And so these covers are going out of print. So I was like, oh shoot. So I went and grabbed one. Liz Tomforty is a local author. I don't think this one is signed, but every other book I have from her is. Okay, then I've got A Dawn of Gods and Fury by K.A. Tucker. This is the 4th one in the Flame and Fury trilogy. I don't know what the official name is. Wrath and Flame? That sounds right. Anyway, I need to read this. I have it Obviously it's on KU, so I could read it that way, and that's how I probably will read it because this is thick, but I wanted to finish this one out before I forget everything that happened in the last couple of books because I'm just not that smart. And these are like dense, really good fantasy books. And I own all the other ones and I've loved them so far, so I really want the shelf trophy. So that's that. Haven't read it though. Got another fair loot. This is The Glittering Edge by Alyssa Valere. I have no idea what this is about. Magic has demands that must be met. Cute edges. We're getting down to it. These next two both came in a PR box, A Sea of Echoes, also pirates. You can tell I like pirates. So this is the main book that came with that. And then this I think is just a little novella that came with it. You can see the size differential by Misty D. Waters. I'm excited to read those. But again, don't know much about them, so I'm not gonna be a lot of help. And last but not least, this also is a PR thing. I believe, yeah, I can see it. You guys can't see it, but it's right over there. The hardback of this is the paperback, and it's got some spreads that says, "Who do you trust?" I might not keep both. Usually when I have duplicates of books, is I'll wait until I've read them and decide if I like them and then get rid of one. But in this scenario, or like the Shield of Sparrows, I've read it already, so that's a bad example. But with this one, because the only difference is hardcover versus paperback, I might just give one away. I don't know, we'll see. My goal is to get a little free library up in my front yard. I'm trying to like con my brother into building one so that I don't have to. And then I'd have, you know, some stock to get my books out, but we'll see. Anyway, that is all 43 books that I acquired during Q2. Thanks for playing, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And if you have read any of these, please drop a comment and tell me what you thought. Otherwise, I will see you all next time. Thanks so much for playing. Bye.